Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that everyone had a great weekend. Today, we're taking a turn out of chapter 10 and 11, and I'm going to introduce to you our exciting semester 2 project, which is a Desmos activity. And I've talked about it a little bit in class, and now I'm going to walk you through how to go ahead and complete it. So, your note today will be a very step by step how to, and I'm going to show you what to do in here. And you'll get some practice in your Desmos teacher activity today as well. So the very first thing that you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and find your image. Now, your image is more important than you think. Your image is really important because the more straight lines that you have, the easier your project is going to be. Curves are really hard. We'll show you in a couple weeks how to work on curves, but curves are a little bit more difficult, and you use the equation of a circle as opposed to straight lines, which we know are y equals mx plus b, so it makes it a little easier. So once you find your image, you're going to go ahead and go to the plus sign once you're in Desmos Graphing Calculator, and you're going to go ahead and go to Image. Now, you've saved your image somewhere in your drive or on your computer, and for me, it's recent, and I went ahead and I picked for my image this logo right here. It's loading up. And so you're going to find that image, you're going to bring it up, and you're going to go ahead and click it, and then click your upload button. Now, I'd like for you to see how small this is. Now, when you start in your image, as you guys know, it always starts kind of at 5, -5. Now, we can't do it that small. Otherwise, to make your lines, you're going to have items like y equals 1.2465x plus 2.892. So the very first thing you need to do is you need to zoom out. And you need to go ahead and grab the corner of your image, and you're going to make your image really big. And when I say really big, at least -50 to 50, and then you can zoom in. And that's going to allow you to really focus and make little lines that are full numbers as opposed to decimals and fractions. So once you have your item here, you're ready to go ahead and make your first line. So the very first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to the next line, and you're going to type in y is equal to x. And you're going to decide which line you want to create. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work at this very first left-hand side of the U. So I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to go up to the U, and that color blue is not working for me so much. So you hold it, and I'm going to go ahead and make it a green so it's easier to see. And what I'm going to do to start with is I want to make it parallel. And as you can see, my line right here, to make it parallel, it's too steep. So that means that I need a flatter image. So I'm going to go ahead and change my slope. Right now my slope is 1, and it needs to be flatter, so less than 1. So I'm going to go ahead and try 0.4. And I think it's still a little too steep, as you can see. I'm trying to make it parallel to this. So I'm going to try 0.3. And that looks fairly close to me. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look at this image, and I need to bring up my y-intercept. And as I look across, I see that it crosses the y-axis at about 42. So I'm going to add plus 42. It's too low, so I'm going to try 43, 44, 45, 47, 48. That's pretty close. And now that I've gotten so close, and I can see it's a little too steep. So I'm going to make it a little bit flatter. As you can tell, 0.2 is too much. So I'm going to make it 0.26. And then I'm looking pretty parallel right here, so I'm going to drop it down to 47. So I'm just playing with this lines, 46. And that's looking pretty close to me, maybe a little flatter there, and then bring this down. So you're playing with those two numbers until it mimics the line that I'm looking for. So as you can see, that's pretty spot on that line. Now what I need to do is I need to limit it so it starts here and stops here. So I'm going to be looking at my x values, and I drop down and I see that I start here on the left at about negative, we're going to say 91.5. So I'm going to go ahead and do a bracket, and then I'm going to do where I start, which we said was negative 91.5. And then it's always less than. So I'm going to go ahead and do my less than. And then I put my x in because I'm letting my x. And then a less than again. And I go to where the right-hand side's going to be, which is about negative 70. And as you can see, it starts and stops pretty close. I'm going to change this maybe to 0.4. And as you can tell, I've created my first line here. It is this portion of my U on my UCLA. So my first line's done. I'm going to go ahead and move on my next one. Now I can see this next line is parallel. So I'm going to do the same line for my slope because parallel slopes are the same. But I'm going to change a different y-intercept. It's a little higher. So I'm going to try plus 46. A little less than that, 45.2. Looks like it's a little flatter, so I'm going to change that to 0.24. I'm going to drop it down a little bit. So as you see, I'm playing with those lines until it's smack dab exactly where I want it to be. Once I have that, I'm going to limit that line as well, and I'm going to continue to do this. Now, this one right here is between like negative 62. So I'm going to do my bracket. Negative 62 is less than, and it looks like it's about negative, we'll try 45. So this is our x values, negative 45. I forgot the less than right here. So make sure you include those signs. And as you can tell, it's not long enough over here. So we're going to make that negative 67, negative 66 looks about perfect. So as you can tell, I have my first two lines both here and here. If I take my image away, you can see my lines are still there. And I'm well on my way to my very first project here. Now, this isn't due for a while. This is due on May 31st. But by the end of the day today, you need to have an image chosen. You need to have it uploaded on Desmos, and you need to have your very first line. You're going to take a screenshot of this with your very first lines, and then you're going to go ahead and you're going to post that to your daily document. Thank you guys so much. I hope that this is a fun opportunity for you to finish up that project. Have a great one, and I will talk to you later. Bye.